Hi, my name is Dawn Montefusco, and this is Write Because It Matters. And today we have the magical Kevin Knebl. He's an international speaker, author, trainer, and inner clarity and outer success coach, whose clients include small, medium, and Fortune 500 companies. He's an in-demand leading authority on social selling, relationship marketing, LinkedIn, and Twitter, with a healthy dose of personal development and humor blended in for good measure for conferences, conventions, company trainings, and many other events. And I'm so excited we have Kevin with us today. Hi, Kevin.
Hi, Dawn. Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you.
Here.
Let's jump right in. Why don't you tell people what you do and why you love doing it?
I'm a speaker, author, trainer, coach. So what I do is I live in Colorado, but I'm usually on the road someplace else in the world. I speak in about one city per week all around the world, and I primarily talk about how to combine what I call old school, high-touch relationship interpersonal skills with new school modern platforms like LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter. I do a lot of speaking in the business world, just helping people be high-touch in a high-tech world.
Oh, that's great.
And I love it. It's great. I get to meet wonderful people. I travel all around the world. I'm on about a stage a week somewhere around the world, and it's wonderful. I'm blessed.
That's great. And so I love the high touch, high tech. That's my new favorite thing right now, just so you know. And with that, we'll talk about your book in a little bit, but in terms of Write Because It Matters and the writers that I deal with, they're torn between sitting behind the screen and not being in touch, wanting to be more out of the screen and in front of people, but now it's self-publishing and them being their own sales force. Do you recommend writers use your techniques with social media to get the word out about their book and who they are?
Well, what a great question. At the core of everything I do, I'm a very simple guy. I'm definitely not the sharpest knife in the drawer. Couple fries short of a Happy Meal. So I keep things extremely simple. I've noticed and it's going to sound ridiculously simple when I say this, but I noticed a long time ago that there's no way that I'm ever going to create a relationship with anybody. And when I use the word relationship, we could call that selling, we could call that marketing, we could call that referral generation, whatever we want to call that. There's one thing that always has to happen first, and a conversation has to take place. Now, that might sound very obvious, but if you look around, most people are trying to chase marketing methods and ideas, and I'm not putting down marketing, but at the end of the day, business is transacted one-to-one. And it always comes back to a conversation. So when you ask me, Kevin, do my methods work for people that are in self-publishing? Well, my methods are really all rooted in the art and science of creating conversations and relationships. So whether somebody's watching this video right now, who's looking to get more visibility in the world as a speaker, or whether somebody's a lumberjack, it doesn't matter. Principles are principles. That's why they're called principles. So my book is all about creating conversations in a non-slick, non-salesy, not awkward or creepy way, because conversations are always what lead to relationships. And does that kind of make sense?
Yeah, it totally makes sense.
Yeah.
With writers, what's interesting, we were talking about the conversational writer, you know, how a good writer really, you almost don't feel like you're reading.
Right.
It's just who they are is coming right through. And I wonder, you know, how would you describe, or what's advice you would give in terms of the word transparency online?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I have to put a disclaimer on that. And it's that there's a million ways to use the internet. Thank you, Al Gore. Okay, there's a million ways to use the internet. The way somebody is offline tends to also be kind of the way they are online to some degree. Knowing that it's a more and more interconnected, over-caffeinated, hyper-competitive world, and people like to do business with and refer business to people who they know, like, and trust, what I always tell my audience is be as transparent as you can comfortably feel that you could be. Don't try to be something you're not.
Right.
But you need to understand that the more transparent that you can be, the more people are going to know you, like you, and trust you faster. It's not a manipulation technique. It's sincerity. It's heart-centered, authentic sincerity. So when people know that you're the real deal, that leads to a relationship a lot faster than they feel like they're being sold something or they're not being told the whole truth. So I always say be as transparent as you feel comfortable that you could be, because it's attractive.
Yeah, it is attractive. It's
Yeah.
attractive. There's authenticity and transparency, and sometimes I think there are some writers that are so transparent it's a little uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Um, However, I think in your last newsletter, which was perfectly put, you were talking about the difference, but when you said it's important to be the same way online and offline, but also to be polite.
Yeah.
That you've got a hefty dose of New Jersey, I got a hefty dose of the Bronx, so there's that, but there is a politeness in that, even though it's maybe a little raw, maybe a little very real. But how would you describe keeping it real and keeping it polite?
Well, I call it internet etiquette or internet etiquette.
Oh,
Okay?
nice.
So I look at things like the internet, a typewriter, if people remember what that is, two cans and a string, smoke signals. These are all communication platforms. So no matter what communication platform you're using, at the end of the day, it's always going to come down to the relationship. And relationships tend to work better when we have some basic manners. That's just human nature.
Yeah.
So no matter how advanced technology becomes, and it's going to become a lot more advanced than it is now. I remember when it was never going to get cooler than Pong. Okay. And then they invented Space Invaders, but no matter how advanced technology becomes, human nature is pretty much going to be the same. So, but it's interesting to observe a lot of people forget their manners when they turn their computer on. They forget words like please and thank you. And if somebody gives you a compliment, you say thank you.
Tell us more about that. You talk about how you say thank you to everyone that shares a post.
Yeah, I do.
Or tell us about that. That's a great way for writers, I think, to feel comfortable building relationship online.
Well, it actually goes back to what we said earlier, that on almost every social media site, there's a like, a comment, and a share button.
Yep.
I call those engagement opportunities. An engagement is just a $5 word for conversation. So when I post something on LinkedIn or Facebook or wherever, and somebody hits the like button, I actually take a second to see who that person was that hit the like button. Because maybe that's somebody that I want to create, nurture, and deepen a relationship with. And what would be more natural than me sending them a private message and saying something like, hey, Dawn, I noticed that you liked my picture. Thanks so much. You probably don't know it, but I'm all about paying it forward, and I'd love to prove it to you. Perhaps I can direct some resources or open some doors for you. Would you like to have a conversation about a possible mutually beneficial referral? Whatever I say, that's not a sales pitch.
Yeah.
Not slick.
Yeah.
Sincere. So when people share my content, and a lot of people do, when people share my content, I thank them.
Yeah.
A lot of times I thank them publicly.
Oh, nice.
So, and for writers, people that are looking to get more visibility, if you really adopt that mentality of every time somebody clicks like, comment, or share on something you post, that is an opportunity to open a conversation. And we never know where the conversation's going to go. Because nothing happens until a conversation starts. Nothing.
That's fantastic.
So I keep it so simple. You and I are actually in the same business, Dawn, even though we do completely different things. We're in the conversation and relationship business.
Yeah, that's true.
And everybody else is too. It's just that most people don't realize.
That makes amazing sense, and it leads right into you were having this conversation with the world.
Yeah.
And you were out there, and you got a book deal, the dream, right? So tell us about your book and tell us that journey.
Well, it was crazy. I was in my office one day and the phone rings and this woman goes, Kevin, my name is Stephanie Frerick. You don't know me. I'm an editor at McGraw-Hill in New York City. We've been reading your blog, reading your newsletter, watching your LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter posts for 6 months. You've already been vetted. Will you take a $10,000 advance to write a book? And I was like, is this Linda? I couldn't believe it. I was like, somebody's yanking my chain here, right? So I said, come on, who is this really? And she's like, I told you, my name's Stephanie Frerick. I said, you're not, I don't know who's Steph. I said, wait a minute. You want me to write a book about LinkedIn, right? She goes, yeah. I said, hang on a second. Let me pull up LinkedIn and type in Stephanie Frerick. And I type it in. And I go, holy crap, you're her.
That's great.
So I wish I had some great master plan as to how I secured a book deal. I was just a complete blessing. But the point there is that I was creating content.
Mm-hmm.
I was
Mm-hmm.
creating visibility,
Mm-hmm.
never knowing where it's going to go. That's the
Mm-hmm.
power of the internet.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently it went somewhere and people started watching it and
Mm-hmm.
following it.
That's
And
fantastic.
eventually they said, I guess this guy knows something. Let's get him to write a book.
And okay, so there you go. Boom. Now you've got to write a book. For those out there that whether they get the phone call or they pitched to an agent and an agent said yes, it comes in different forms.
Yeah.
Now, what was, writers are just so curious. What was your formula? Well, how did you go about it? How long did it take you? That kind of thing.
I don't know that I really want to tell the truth on that one.
Well, usually it's short. It's a lot less time than people. That's the
Yeah.
message is it's not supposed to take forever.
Well, I'm gonna. You asked the question, and I'm in the business of telling the truth, so I'm going to tell you the truth.
Mm-hmm.
I signed the book deal,
Mm-hmm.
and they give me a timeline. We want the manuscript on such and such a date. But I'm a speaker, and I'm on the road a lot. You ever see the
right.
movie Up in the Air with George Clooney?
Yes,
Like
yes.
that's me, right?
Oh,
So
wow.
I don't do the sleazy stuff he does. And I don't look like George Clooney. I look like a cross between Pee Wee Herman and Screech.
Oh,
So
nonsense.
I got a face for radio. So I get this book deal, and they pay me this money, and I'm supposed to be delivering the manuscript. And I keep talking my way around it. Like at a certain point, I'm supposed to have given them at least X number of pages, and I haven't written anything. And I just keep telling them, oh, I'm working on it, blah, blah, blah. And I literally, you asked the question, I'm telling you the truth.
I love it.
It literally comes down to a week before I'm supposed to have the completed manuscript.
I believe
And
it.
I am crapping like bricks. and I'm like, they paid me all this money. I got to deliver the goods. So here's the answer to your question. I locked myself in a hotel room for 2 days.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I wrote the book in 2 days.
Yep.
And all I did was, because I'm really not a writer per se, I'm a speaker.
Storyteller.
So what I did, I'm a storyteller.
Yeah.
So what I did was I just sat down and I just thought what I would say if I was on stage, and I just typed my fingers off for 2 days and created this 250-page book and submitted it to them, and then their editors cleaned it up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I just poured it out for 48 hours.
That's fantastic. I think it was, I did some research. Clockwork Orange was done in 3 weeks. I think Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, 10 days. Fahrenheit, what is it, I'm going to say that wrong, 951? 451, 951. Again, I think 3 days.
Yeah.
And so I'm also trying to demystify the idea that the actual writing of the first draft, not to say there's not editing and sculpting, but that first draft really just comes out, and most people, it's just the truth, do it because they have a deadline.
Yeah, crank it out.
Yeah.
Crank it out. Just crank it out.
Someone else is wanting the work, and whether it's a publishing company or you're self-publishing and you give yourself a deadline, whether you have a writer's group, whether you have a writing coach, whether you hire, a personal coach, I love what you call it, a clarity and outer success coach. Yeah. That's a clarity and outer success, right? The clarity is what I'm writing and the outer success is the book.
Amen.
But without that kind of deadline, I do see things get stretched out, because you start to overthink it.
That's just the nature of life. A gas tends to expand to fill the size of the container it's in.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? So when you tell somebody, hey, write a book and I'd like to see it in about 10 years. So they're gonna wait until 9 years and 11 months and go, oh crap, I got to write a book, right? So it's best to either have real or artificial deadlines.
Yes, that's how
We're human. We put things off.
That works.
Or we're perfectionists and we think I got to get it just right.
Right.
No, you don't. Just crank it out.
Yeah.
Something done crappy is better than nothing done perfect.
Excellent point. I
Right?
love that.
Because you can always go back and tweak it.
Yeah.
At least you have something to tweak.
Yeah. So on the writing and tweaking note, you write a newsletter every week, correct?
Yeah, I write it about 10 minutes before it goes out.
Yeah, and so do you like to write 10 minutes before it goes out in the morning? In the evening? I mean, do you have a preference or just whenever?
I'm not joking. When we were talking
This is good.
No, I'm telling the truth.
Yeah.
When you said how long did it take you to write the book, and I'm thinking, oh crap, I don't want to tell her 24 hours, but I can't lie to her. So I'm running Mach 5 with my receding hairline on fire like everybody else. And I put out a newsletter once a week. And usually I have the best intentions, right? My newsletter went out this morning, okay? And my intention is, okay, I'm going to write next week's newsletter later tonight. No, I'm not. It's what's going to happen is I'm going to get busy doing 1,000 other things, and then it's going to be next Tuesday or Wednesday. I'm going to go, oh, crap, I got to get a newsletter out. And I'm going to literally, and I'm telling you the truth. I literally sit down, and I take about 10 minutes, and I just go stream of consciousness. I make sure there's no humongously glaring grammatical errors or spelling errors. And I say, you know what? I did the best I can, send it out, right? At least I got something going out.
Right. It's consistency.
It's consistency.
Consistency.
And because of the nature of the internet again, you have no idea where it's going to go. I can't even begin to tell your listeners and your viewers how creating that simple habit of just a brief newsletter, it doesn't have to be War and Peace, right? A brief newsletter, but just doing it consistently, how much business and how many relationships I've been able to be blessed by over the years, because one of my Kevinisms, people tell me I have Kevinisms.
I love that.
One of my Kevinisms is small activities repeated over time produce massive results. And it's so true.
Yeah.
It's so true. So I don't put a lot of thought into my newsletter. I don't put a lot of time into it. I know that I have to get one out about once a week, and I usually, about 10 minutes before I'm supposed to get it out, put something down, send it to my assistant. She formats it in my newsletter and sends it out.
Nice.
Yeah.
And the point that I love that you're making is that, when I get clients that are like hemming and hawing or this and that, I say, ha-ha, just do it. It's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's better to do, we said it earlier, it's better to do something even if it's not great, at least it's something.
Yeah. And look where it got you, got your book deal.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That's awesome. Are you thinking of writing another one?
I've been thinking about writing another one ever since I wrote the last one.
Except that you need someone to...
I need to, wait until 9 years and 11 months. I finally kind of figured out what I'm going to write it about, and I'm sure I will start soon.
Oh, that's great. I can't wait. It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
So you have and so you got the publishing company. I was going to ask you that, but so let's talk about your free gift, because what I like about you have these free videos out to help people with their LinkedIn profile that are awesome. I mean, tell us a little bit more about that.
Well, thanks. I'm a huge proponent of paying it forward. Matter of fact, I operate from what I call my pay it forward business model. And it's very simple. But I give away a ton of content, not because I'm Mother Teresa or Gandhi or some enlightened sage or something like that. I just like to pay it forward. And business has a karma to it. I don't pay it forward so that the universe owes me, but it's just a natural principle of life that, karma's not a bitch unless you are.
Yeah.
So what I always say is pay it forward. Give away great content, because it will attract people to you, because they go, oh my God, if he's giving me all this stuff for free, what could potentially I get if I actually hired him? But again, I'm not doing it so that people owe me. I just like to give away stuff.
Oh, I understand totally.
So if anybody ever goes to my YouTube channel, I put videos on there that it's the same content that my speaking clients pay me $15,000, $20,000 an hour to give. I put the same thing. Don't tell my clients, but I put it on YouTube. Right? But for your viewers, if they will email me at kevin@kevinknebl.com, Knebl really looks like it needs another vowel, Knebl. Could I please buy another vowel? If they will email me at kevin@kevinknebl.com and mention that they saw the video as part of your summit, and say that they know Dawn, because any friend of Dawn's is a friend of mine. If they mention that they saw this video, I will be happy to email them my LinkedIn templates and my LinkedIn profile optimization cheat sheet. So this is information that will help them make sure that they have the right presence, because just like our parents told us many years ago, we have a very little window of opportunity to make a good first impression. So it's important that people are presenting themselves in a way that really reflects their credibility and the value that they deliver. Whether or not they have a website, people are going to go look at your LinkedIn profile.
Yes, definitely.
And if it looks like it was slapped together at 4 o'clock in the morning after an all-night tequila bender, I they're not going to have a good impression, right? So
Definitely.
we want to make sure their LinkedIn profile looks good. And then when they get my templates, it's got a lot of wording that they can change to suit their personality, but it's basic wording that will open up conversations and really facilitate a lot of business. Does that help?
That's great, yes. And I just want to tell everyone watching, on this page below, I will have links to your YouTube channel, to your website, and mention the free gift with your email, so they have everything, and your Facebook link, and your LinkedIn link, so they can just have fun, because it is fun. One of the things I love about you is your sense of humor, and you're so approachable. And it's been such a pleasure getting to know you.
Well, thanks, Dawn. You know, I think adults are just kids with long, hairy legs.
Yeah.
So
Hey.
and not everybody else. But most people, they have enough stress in their life. They need a little. They just need to lighten up a little bit.
Yeah.
And I don't think that having fun and being professional are mutually exclusive.
Agreed.
I think they go together really well.
Agreed.
So I like to have fun, and ironically, I've actually noticed over the years that the more fun I'm having, the more money I'm making.
Yes.
And that's interesting.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a great point, actually.
And life's short.
Yeah.
Right? It's have a good time, you know.
Yeah.
You know. Anyway.
So that's why don't pine over your book for 9 years. Have a good time. Lock yourself in a hotel. Get the first draft done, and then tweak as you go.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I love it, Kevin. It's been such a pleasure.
Well, thank you, Dawn. It's been an honor to talk with you, and I look forward to getting to know you better. And anybody watching this, if I can ever help you in any way, I'm extending my hand in friendship. I can't shake it back. Friendship and saying, if I can help you, God bless, I'll be happy to help you.
Oh, that's great. Well, thanks, Kevin. I look forward to next time.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
See ya.